It's 2 days into my birthday and the video launch. I haven't finished reshoots or editing or special effects. Gremlins continue to get into the electronics and cause glitches and technical issues. I don't remember the last time I touched grass or saw the sun. Actually, that last one's pretty normal for me, so let me take that as a There's a lot happening. Can you believe it's actually been less than a year since I first put on the Catboy outfit? Our marketing back then was a lot more normal, maybe a little beamy, but in all the years that we have done things and we've existed, this is actually the first year where we've taken the plunge to go all out, be truly and completely ourselves, and not be held back by the thoughts of what other people might think of us. White colored pencils don't leave impressions. These were the words that I heard in a song while driving one day. I'd heard this song before many, many times, but that day, that one unimportant, ordinary day, those words rang out and I stopped. Back then, we did the classic standard marketing things. We did some funny things here and there. Now and then, nothing too much. Always a little muted. Always a little concerned with if we were going to be called cringe or who might get upset at us, and always a little half-hearted and timid. Once upon a time, I wanted to be an actor. I'd always loved plays, theater, film, even when I claimed to my parents that I had been accidentally signed up to a drama class, even though that was actually something I had desperately wanted to do. Once upon a time, I wanted to be a writer. I loved novels, short stories, books, and when I was young, I'd lean up against the car window, book awkwardly angled so it could be illuminated by the passing streetlights in the hopes that I could catch just a few more words, a few more seconds of the story that unfolded before me. And once upon a time, I gave up on those dreams. And put my pen away forever. Until I heard those words sung on that normal, unexceptional day. Heard the words that echoed deep in a place that I'd forgotten and made my heart ache with a long forgotten feeling. I never desired to be a businessman, entrepreneur, and that sort of thing. The only reason I call myself CEO is because it's funnier for a lot of the dumb stuff that I do if I call myself a CEO instead of a small business owner, which also happens to be a lot harder to say. And even then, I like to joke that the C in CEO stands for chaos. Even in my edgy teenage years where I disavowed emotions and wanted to be that I'm super rational and logic only kind of guy, my heart was taken by all the vibrant, rich stories that surround us. What I want to do more than anything in the world, it's not about making ramen. It's not about making money, not about nutrition or health or any of the things that might spring to mind first. I want to tell stories. I want to tell stories worth remembering. I want to tell stories that change people. And for the better, that make people think and make people remember, and that make people sad and happy and contemplative and inspired, and make someone's day better, and give someone a new perspective on all the wonderful, beautiful things that stories can do to make our lives just a little bit more vivid and just a little bit more worth living. This upcoming video is one of the first steps in that. It has what you would expect from us, from me thirst trapping for the very large number of you who found us through the original Catboy video. It's got wild and funny antics, strange costumes, and all that other goodness. But more than that, it's the first time that I'm writing something also that's a little bit more personal. Something that's a metaphorical representation of an inner conflict, and something with a little bit more drama. It's an eclectic blend, for sure, and not something that's easily put into a specific category, but this is something that I want to continue writing and filming and telling the story of. It's also my very first time doing stunts, martial arts, and action scenes where I do fight choreography against myself, because when you don't have money to hire other actors or stunt performers, you kind of got to do everything yourself. So we had to be kind of creative in how we approached being able to do action scenes and being able to do fight scenes and that sort of stuff. Hilariously, the only reason I'm actually able to do all of this is because of Vite Ramen and Nano Boost and all the other stuff we made. Because the design case was to be able to be healthy even if you're busy, so it actually ends up working out really well. And please come watch the video when it releases on July 28th. Share it with your friends, post about it, retweet, I guess re-X now, whatever Musk is doing over there. I have to admit that I am still genuinely terrified every time I release a video, especially because every time I try to push the boundaries of what we can do and try something else new and fun, and I'm never sure if it's gonna actually work. So, and of course, go buy some ramen to support the cost of making these videos, because that is the only way I can do it. Even on a shoestring budget, it's not cheap. It's like when people are like, oh yeah, there's like a super low budget film or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, this is like low budget, it's only $125,000. And I'm like, we don't have that money, right? That's why that is why I do the the directing and acting and script writing and everything else that I can do, because it's not because, as some people have accused me of because I'm narcissistic. It's because I'm poor. Yeah, it's because we're poor as a small business and we don't have the money to do it, so we got to be creative in how we do things instead. I can't thank all of you enough. Those of you who have watched this far in the video, those of you who read and watch and support us through everything, you who've joined us on this journey, you who've supported us through machine failures and pandemics and wildfires and everything else crazy that has happened here, you who has eased the tight, gripping fear I feel in my chest every time we do and try something new, you who give words of encouragement and who has told me it's okay to dream, it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to express myself. So, thank you. Thank you, truly, from the bottom of my heart. Because this, being able to storytell, being able to just do a little bit more of this is what really makes me happy. Thank you for this crazy year that we took a leap of faith on, and thank you for laughing and sharing and smiling, and especially those of you who, the lovely folks that fight for us on social media every time the haters come around. And thank you for everything. And I am famously bad and terrible at concluding an ending. So thought I'd end it with a poem that I wrote a long time ago that I found again when in these last few weeks when I moved. The title is Fictional Friends. I actually did write it as part of a poetry writing class, actually. You were always a Mary Sue or a Gary Stu or the self-insert perfection with the hot girl and the witty friend, the unique powers, the chosen one. Then you got older, and the stories got darker with deaths and allegories, Sisyphus and Tantalus, and you became an anti-hero, brooding and mysterious, but still the perfect anti-hero that everyone would love to be for just one day. Then you got older still, and the hot girlfriend became the femme fatale with the seductive smile even as she slit your throat, and that witty, loyal friend disappeared. The powers began to fade, and there wasn't a chosen one anymore. And you began to fade. Then you were gone. Because you learned that you couldn't exist in this world because you were too shallow, too cliched, grown worthy and cringe-inducing and not worth anyone's time. Especially when life had to happen first. And you were gone for so long. And I missed you. Missed the dragons we'd tame and the skies we'd soar through together. Missed the angels and the demons and the mystic forces they'd create. Missed the arid deserts and the air so dry they'd choke a scorpion, and missed the lush, verdant forests and the wolfmen that hid in the shadows. Missed those cliched plots and the adventures we'd have together. So, one day, finally, I picked up the pen again and found my friends between those faded blue lines. And you opened up your eyes again.